I'm Zach Elmblad, and you're watching the multi-part presentation, Borderline Vagabond. This is Chapter 12, so if you want to start at Chapter 1, go ahead and click right here. Very well then. Chapter 12, Lucidity. So, what is this? What do you want from me? Where do we go from here? She said, as we walked out of the pancake house. I don't want anything from you, I said, facing forward. I said it calmly and honestly. Maybe I thought I was being cool. I really don't know why I say certain things. This scene could play out like a trashy made-for-television movie. Dramatic camera angles and hard cuts from my face to hers as I continued to say stupid things. Oh. She seemed let down. She exhaled deeply, put her hands in her pockets, and stared at the ground. I thought it had been the right thing to say. I'm never good at these things. In this movie, I was supposed to be the mysterious vagabond, the man that left as quickly as he had arrived. I was just happy to be inside the moment, taking hold of the main nerve. It was all symbolic to me, all about living life and nothing about real-world consequences, much less the feelings of other people. I just always had to assume that if I was having a good time, so was everyone else. We're all in this together, but we can't read other people's minds. She broke the silence. I don't know how you could say something like that, she mocked me. I don't want anything from you. Are you a human being? What? My face fell and I fouled all pretense of being the mysterious stranger. I should have never been acting like someone else in the first place. What do? Just go around stomping on people's feelings all day? Fuck them and then leave? Is it nothing but insults and cold indifference with you? She hunched over and pointed at me accusingly. Jesus, I thought. Here comes the inevitable sadness. Where's this coming from? I didn't mean to be cold. I just mean that I don't want anything from you. I'm just happy to be here, no requirements. I don't mean any offense. I think you might have misunderstood me. I put my arms up in protest. No requirements? How can you say that? The man with such big ideals and goals. Not going to ask me out for drinks? Your buddy is going home to sleep off a long night. What are you going to do before you head home? You said you have another day, right? Oh, I'd been had. I smiled. Where to, Jazz? Anywhere that has booze. Want to get some liquor and bum around town? Maybe hit a bar and make fun of people? Your call. I feel like drinking a pint of whiskey and putting my feet in some water. Know a good place? I know a perfect place. Let's get some booze and head out. I'll give you directions as we go. We got in the car and headed to a liquor store to find a cheap pint of whiskey and some ginger ale. After picking up my car at Hooper's, Jasmine led me to a small picnic area on a stream outside Durham where we mixed some drinks in empty water bottles. I like to come down here and think sometimes, Jasmine said, getting out of the car. She stretched as she spoke, bringing her arms out to her sides and throwing her head back, letting her orange hair fall free and gently float in the wind. She really was beautiful. I still couldn't quite believe all of this was happening. When life takes its strange turns, all you can do is stare at the surroundings and try to remember everything you can. You never know what might be important some other time. Seems like a good place to think, I said, taking a small sip of the whiskey and walking in the general direction of the stream. Let's go for a walk. She caught up with me and grabbed my hand. matching my pace and slowly swinging her arm. Sounds nice. We walked down a path into the woods, following the small stream leading to a lake. There was a green-painted, wrought-iron bench near the bank off the stream, and we sat down on it. "I love nature," she said. "The birds and the water and the trees and stuff. I wish I did this kind of thing more often." "Yeah, me too. I've done a fair share of ecotourism in my day. There's a lot of good-looking land around here." "It sounds like you've done an awful lot. I kind of wish I had done more than just move out here and go to college." "We write our own stories, you know. My life hasn't been as glamorous as I make it out to be. I mean, I've done everything I've said I've done, but there's always really shitty parts between the awesome parts. I try to only talk about the awesome parts." "What do you mean by shitty?" "All the shitty stuff that's part of life, you know? Being broke, getting rejected by chicks and literary agents, puking in strangers' toilets, friends dying, struggles with addiction, depression, health issues, all of it. I just try not to dwell on it. I try to remain in constant forward progression." "Yeah, I guess nobody's life is perfect." She sat down on a picnic table near the edge of the water. She grabbed her legs, pulling them close to her body. She rested her chin on her knees, staring out at the lake. I sat down behind her on the table, resting my hands on her shoulders. The sky was exceptionally clear that day. Everything just seemed so vibrant and alive. The way we see and interpret the world around us is affected by our mood. When everything around you seems to be crashing down all the time, it's hard to look up and see anything but a shitstorm on the horizon. That day, everything seemed so inspiring. The blue of the sky was so deep and expansive, the clouds so perfectly rounded and randomly distributed, like tiny little cotton balls glued up there by a toddler at summer camp. The sun hung like an ornament, perspective diminishing its raging nuclear fury to a paltry drop of lemon meringue among the cotton. I rubbed her shoulders, slowly, and she laid her head on my thigh. I wanted to leave with this moment forever etched in my memory, like many I had experienced on this trip south. I could have stayed there in North Carolina, easily, at that moment in my life. I could have found a job like Chad's, and I could have crashed at Hooper's place until I got my feet on the ground. I could have carved out a new path through life with Jasmine, in a place far away from the Mitt and the snowstorms and the past. I could find new friends and start everything over. I could save up some cash, break my lease and sell all of my music equipment back home, bring it all to a pawn shop and get a check for a quarter of what it was worth. "What are you thinking about?" she said. Maybe it was obvious that I was thinking big thoughts, weighing the causes and effects, and putting myself face first into 100 different possible futures. "All sorts of stuff, about everything." "Be more specific." "About you, about Hooper, about breakfast, about last night, about where I'm going and why, about the American dream and what it means to me, about what I want to do from this moment forward, and about why I want to do it." That's a lot to think about on such a beautiful day. I can't really help it, I guess. I've always got my head in the clouds. "No, you don't." She laid her head on my lap, pointing upwards and smiling. "The clouds are way up there." We sat at the edge of the lake, talking about the things that people talk about when they're falling for each other, and they both know they shouldn't be. We talked about life, about loves lost, about personal conquests, and about our hopes and dreams. We went home just after nightfall and passed out in a warm heap. The crickets might have been chirping. The owls may have hollered, but I never would have known. We slept like children in the humid southern night. No wolves. No lambs.